and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the David Tomsic Show, fighting tyranny one day at a time. Why is Donald Trump stalking Canada? Does anybody know? Well, before I get on this topic, I want to first directly speak to my Canadian neighbors, my friends, those watching this program from Canada. I support you. I support your country as a nation. I do not agree with anything Donald Trump wants to do, is trying to do, and how he is treating the Canadian people and their government. So from the David Tomsic Show, we say we support you and God bless you. Okay, so to use conventional wisdom, this doesn't make sense, really, does it? An ally who supported us through wars, supported us with forest fires, sent their firefighters here to help us, and I'm sure we did vice versa. Common language, common border. I say common language. I know French is spoken in Canada. God bless you. I know we have common values. There's a lot of things, and we've traded together back and forth for decades. And I don't understand, but in some ways I do, because it's the man himself. It's our president's rude, crude, uneducated way of getting what he wants. And we in America here, many in America here, support that type of attitude, obviously, or they wouldn't put up with it. And yet we do. So what's really going on behind the scenes here? Because yes, he is stalking Canada. Now, before the election, he said a lot of things before the election. He said he wanted to make it the 51st state, that a ruler was used to draw the line. It wasn't really a straight ruler, was it? But anyway, he's made accusations that Canada's stealing from us. He called Prime Minister Trudeau, Governor Trudeau, which is disrespectful. And this is coming from a guy who's telling the world that every leader in the world has disrespected him and the United States. And somehow we're bankrolling every country in the world, and that we're bankrolling Canada, and it's time to take it all back. This is sort of the rhetoric we hear, and his followers love it. But those of us who have common sense and some brain power and understand what's at stake and understand history and understand generally that this is all crazy talk, we don't listen to this stuff. We just have to deal with it. So, he also went on to say that Canadians he dealt with were nasty. I wonder why that is, Oh, well, maybe there's a personal thing here. I'm not sure. But I did find an article from CNN fact check article. Basically, it says 9 Trump false claims about Canada. Okay, I'm going to read them. Bear with me. 9. These are proven wrong. These are proven false. For those of you who are Trump fans, you don't have to listen to this, because you're going to say none of this is true, that everything Donald Trump says is accurate 100%. He never lied in his life. Go down the list of things that you're going to kind of enable him to continue to do. You enablers, you keep watching what you're going to watch maybe in another channel or so. Okay, number 1, falsely said the Canadian public likes the idea of becoming the 51st state, which the Canadian public overwhelmingly opposes. Number 2, falsely said the U.S. trade deficit with Canada is $200 billion, though it's nowhere close. I think it's closer to $40 billion, and I've heard $60 billion, depending on what's added into it. But that's a far, far, far cry from $200 billion. But maybe Donald's not real good at math. Okay, number 3, falsely said Canada is one of the world's highest tariff countries, though it is actually low in global rankings. Now, in the rankings, if you're number 1, you're the highest. They're number 107th out of 137. So they're, again, this might be bad math. 1, 2, and 3 is definitely farther away from 107 out of 137, Donald. So maybe, again, you missed math class when your tutor was in town. Number 4, falsely said Canada hiked its dairy tariffs during the Biden administration, though they haven't changed since Trump's first presidency. 5, falsely said Canada generally doesn't take U.S. agricultural exports, though Canada is the world's second biggest buyer of those exports. Okay? Once again, these words might confuse him. I think maybe he just is confused over the wording. I don't know how to fix that. Number 7. Falsely said Canada is constantly surrounded by Chinese and Russian ships, though this is fiction. Falsely said Canada prohibits U.S. banks, though more than a dozen U.S. banks are operating in Canada today. Falsely said outgoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was using the ongoing tariff battle to run again for Prime Minister, though Trudeau clearly wasn't running. The last one, number 9, falsely said Canada spends less than 1% of gross domestic product on defense, though NATO figures show it was estimated at 1.37% last year. So these are 9 falsehoods that Donald Trump has placed on Canada. Again, why? Why the lies? Why are we doing it? Now, once again, his followers, and I deal with a lot of them. And by the way, to people who have sent me a negative comments, listen, I read them. I don't respond to them, okay? The reason I don't respond to comments, and someone said I deleted one. That's not true. I don't touch them. I just read them and move on. The reason I don't react to them is because it's no use. People who really, truly believe Donald Trump aren't going to listen to me with facts. Listen, I don't come on here spouting my own belief system. No one was mad when I was on Joe Biden for the things I didn't agree with him with. But now, all of a sudden, we have the savior in the White House, and you can't say anything negative. And the facts that I have are facts, mostly undisputed facts. And people don't want to hear it. They want to stick to their little bubble. They want to stay in the Trump world. And if that's the type of person you want as president, it has to say something about you personally. There's something wrong, because this guy isn't right. And just by when I'm reading here about Canada, one country and a limited scope of this should tell you that something's off here, people. So some of these people are going to say he's playing four-dimensional chess. He's way ahead of everybody, and he's got some master plan to take over Canada and make, we're making America great again, and they're going to give us Canada because he's just too smart. He's going to trick them into something. He's got this blueprint that no one else has seen. This is coming from a guy who's Secretary of Defense, another loser, mistakenly, and how did it say? Mistakenly texted war plans to a reporter. Top secret war plans. So this is the guy we're dealing with here. Okay, I can go on and on about things that he has said, the things he has not understood, issues that he has confused. This is scary. This is dangerous. And those that want to think he's playing four-dimensional chess, I'm afraid for you. You might be finding a salesman knocking at your door wanting to sell you swampland in Tahiti. I'm going to give you a suggestion. Don't buy it, but I digress. So there are plenty of theories. Here's something that I want to say, and I said yesterday on my video. Donald Trump, I think, and a lot of people that follow him, and I'm not saying they're all bad people. They're not. They're just misinformed. They just are. They've been kind of hypnotized by the rhetoric, by the narrative. It feels good. It tickles the fancy in their heart that thinks this is right. We need to do this. And no one looks at the ripple effects beyond his actions. This is scary as well. But I think Donald Trump, in his mind, wants to be bringing America back to the Gilded Age. And that was like, 1900s to, and late 1890s to early 1900s, I believe. I mentioned yesterday this was at the height of a lot of technological advances, industrialization, a lot of money being made. And of course, on the back end of that, there was a lot of abuse of workers, low wages, racism. They made sure women stayed in their place. This was a time of the white male. Okay, it was. It was the rise of the right-wing white male. And now remember, that's not every white male, because obviously I'm not in that category, because guess what? I'm white, but I'm not rich. We're talking about those people that have a club that only rich people can be in. And most of those rich people are white. I'm sorry, that's the reality of it, especially in the 1900s, the Gilded Age. Go down the list of robber barons. How many were black? How many were Spanish? How many were Arab? None. All of them were white. Andrew Carnegie, I'm here in Pittsburgh. Andrew Carnegie, he was white. Just saying. You see where I'm going with this. No, I'm not saying that Trump or his followers even understand anything about the Gilded Age, because most of them, sadly, don't know history. I found this out by talking to quite a few. They don't understand history, so they don't know that in many ways they repeat some of the errors made back in the day, which, again, is happening now. We want to go back to that time where men were men and everybody else ran scared. Okay, this article's from Aljazeera. It's entitled Closest Target. Why is Donald Trump so focused on Canada? Trump has imposed steep tariffs on Canadian goods and threatened more. He regularly calls for the annexation of Canada, and he has made unfounded and disparaging claims about outgoing Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the Canadian electoral system. One person said the damage to the relationship is substantial. It's going to be long-lasting. Yet as Trump's attacks against the country's northern neighbor continue unabated, many observers are now asking, why? 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 Why is the president targeting a country that has widely been viewed as one of the U.S. most reliable partners? Why does Trump seem so fixated on Canada? The article goes on. There could be animosity playing a role in Trump's recent rhetoric against Canada's Prime Minister, said Jeffrey Kabasovas, Vice President of Political Studies at the Nicholson Center, a center right-wing think tank in Washington, D.C. Trump is always looking for a way to exact revenge and retribution against people who have criticized him in the past. Now, Trudeau criticized Donald Trump in 2018, of course, over the trade war and tariffs at that time. And certainly Trudeau would fall into that category, he told Al Jazeera. He goes on and headlines another paragraph with this, a 19th century vision. Here we go. But Kabasovas said Trump's very 19th century idea of what it means to be a great power is at the heart of his annexation rhetoric. That being said, when the President of the United States says he wants Canada to be the 51st state, he likely isn't thinking about what that would mean in practice, including how absorbing a country of 40 million people would alter American politics, said Kabasovas. In short, it's sort of like just a boy's fantasy. Would it be great if America could expand and take in all these other countries? Wouldn't it be great if America was like Britain back in its imperial days, when the world map was covered in red? I think that's the level which he thinks of these things. Okay, so that kind of makes sense to me. It's this 19th century idea of expansionism, of making more money, of grabbing more resources. Keep in mind, Donald Trump is a businessman. Maybe not a good one, but he's a businessman. He knows how to steal, he knows how to pillage, he knows how to make deals. So all these countries like Canada and Greenland, they have resources. I've said this in other videos. He wants them. He wants them for America, but he really wants them for himself and his buddies. He can divide it up. Because guess what? He'll make deals with people who will go in and cut down all the trees, drill for all the oil, basically dig all the minerals and ore out of the ground, and of course leave it because he doesn't care about ecological problems. He doesn't care that that is a stain on the environment. He could care less because there's money involved. Drill, baby, drill. Crazy talk. So, again, to the Canadians to our north, listen, this isn't going to happen. I hope not. I hope he doesn't think about invading. I think that would start a ripple effect around the world. And I believe that right now, as we speak, Canada is going to call for new elections. This final article I'm going to read is from AP News. Now, here in the United States, we're not all taking this seriously, but Canada and their officials are taking it very seriously. In fact, this is, again, the headline of this AP News article. Canada's Prime Minister and his opponent kick off election saying Trump must respect sovereignty. Okay, so he goes on to say here, new Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and his conservative opponent said U.S. President Trump must respect Canada's sovereignty as they kick off the election campaign Sunday against the backdrop of a trade war and Trump's annexation threats. Carney announced a 5-week election campaign before the vote on April 28th. We are facing the most significant crisis of our lifetime because of President Trump's unjustified trade actions and his threats to our sovereignty, Carney said. President Trump's claims that Canada isn't a real country. He wants to break us up so America can own us. We will not let that happen, he added. The governing Liberals appeared poised for an historic election defeat this year until Trump declared a trade war. He has repeatedly said Canada should become the 51st U.S. state and has acknowledged he's upended Canadian politics. Trump's almost daily attacks on Canada's sovereignty have infuriated Canadians and led to the surge in Canadian nationalism that has bolstered Liberal poll numbers. They want our resources. They want our water. They want our land. They want our country. Never, Carney said at a rally in Newfoundland. So that's where all this madness stands right now. I believe that Donald Trump has just made a mess of our relationships with every country that used to be our allies. And I think this will only come back and haunt the American people sooner than later. Well, that's all the time I have. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video. And I have been promoting our new channel with Ashley Hamilton called Nights Around the Fire. I'm going to provide a link in this description box. Go watch it if you like mysteries, legends, and myths. That's what we're going to be talking about. Outside of that, God bless you. God bless you, Canadians. And I'll see you next time right here on the David Tomsic Show. Oh, Canada. Love 'em.